Ezra had to wait for 3 days to see how many people would come, and then he realized the Levites are not coming, the priests are not coming, the scribes are not coming, teachers are not coming, because Jerusalem was a very hopeless place at this time. I can understand sometime for these Levites' refusal to come to Jerusalem, because in the ministry, as a Christian minister, sometimes financially when you go through hard times, there's so many pastors' children, they do not want to come into the full-time ministry because they saw how parents struggle. In fact, my own son, at one time, when he went to give an interview, the CEO of the company asked him, "Your father is a pastor," because that CEO was a friend of my friend. "I heard your father is a pastor. Why don't you go to become a pastor? Why are you trying to work for a company?" And my son, my father and mother, they are still very young, and I want to make money so that I will help them to do better ministry. I was quite impressed that he wants to support his father and mother, because ministry is not easy. Living by faith is very challenging. And one of the reasons why church in India, Nepal, all these poorer countries become so weak and ineffective, because many pastors have to compromise their conviction to make a living, to look for sponsors. It's a sad reality. The pastors are willing to compromise their spiritual and ethical convictions so that they can somehow find some living. If, for example, we are a small independent church, we preach the Bible very clearly as it is, but if I really struggle to make a living here, then I have to look for someone to support me. So when I go to ask support, maybe if I go to Mizoram or Nagaland or wherever there is a bigger church willing to support me, then what happens? The institution or the organization or the church that supports me will tell me how to preach, what to do, what not to do. Then what happens? I have to tame myself. I have to compromise my moral and my spiritual, my intellectual convictions, so that I will please the one who is supporting me. So many pastors have to please their donors instead of pleasing God. And when that happens, you lose your moral authority, your spiritual authority. So these Levites were refusing to come to Jerusalem. They saw the danger and the difficulty of not being supported. But on the other hand, if we are like Nehemiah, if we are like Jeremiah, if we are like Ezra, if we are like many of these prophets who were willing to sacrifice their life. Isaiah and Ezekiel, their wives died and they couldn't even weep for their wives. God said, no, you have to demonstrate that these people are going to suffer the way you are suffering after your wives die. But you are not supposed to weep. These people will not get a chance to weep because they have abandoned me. And I'm going to bring terror such a way that they will suffer. So you have to demonstrate that suffering through your life. That's a terrible way of doing ministry. Not everyone is cut out for that. So in India, why church is very weak?